Hello everybody. For Module 2, I also developed a one-page infographic that I use throughout the semester to help culinary arts students understand the purpose of assessment in the kitchen. Rather than presenting learning assessment as educational theory, I focus on helping students experience assessment as part of their learning journey, not simply as a method for assigning grades. This strategy builds on the learner's mindset introduced in Module 1 by encouraging students to become more reflective, engaged, and responsible for their own growth. I introduced this infographic during our orientation, and the students can also access it on Brightspace throughout the semester. I explained that assessment happens before, during, and after learning, and that each type of assessment has a different purpose. Throughout the semester, I refer back to this resource so students understand that assessment is more than receiving a grade. It's a process that helps them recognize their strengths, identify areas for improvement, and become active participants in their own learning. Assessment of learning takes place after students complete a learning activity such as a practical exam, skills assessment, or final product evaluation. These assessments help determine whether students have achieved the required learning outcomes in the culinary kitchen. This may include evaluating a finished dish, technical skills, food safety practices, and overall execution. However, I encourage students to view these assessments as more than a final grade. They provide valuable information about their current skill level and highlight areas for continued growth. Most of my assessment for learning happens while students are learning in the kitchen. During practical labs, I observe student performance, ask questions, demonstrate techniques, and provide immediate coaching. Because feedback happens during the learning process, students can adjust their technique and improve before the final assessment. These daily conversations help students build confidence and understand that feedback is a normal and valuable part of becoming a better culinary professional. The area I emphasize most is assessment as learning because it helps students become more independent learners. At the end of each kitchen lab, students complete a short reflection by asking themselves, what did I do well today? What challenged me? What feedback did I receive? What will I improve next time? What question do I still have? Before I share my own observations, I encourage students to evaluate their own performance first. These reflection routines help students recognize their progress, identify their next steps, and gradually take ownership of their learning. I encourage students to view assessment as part of a continuous learning cycle rather than a single event. In our kitchen, students practice a skill, receive feedback, reflect on their performance, and apply what they've learned during the next lab. Each cycle builds confidence, strengthens skills, and encourages continuous improvement. This reinforces the idea that learning doesn't end with an assessment. It continues every time students return to the kitchen. My goal is to create a learning environment where assessment supports growth instead of creating fear. I promise to provide clear expectations, timely and constructive feedback, and opportunities for students to practice, reflect, and improve throughout the semester. I hope students become confident, reflective, and self-directed learners who continue growing throughout their culinary education and future careers. Thank you.